Saturday morning. Uh, where's my? Oh, there it is. There go my filter of choice. Because inside the car it does make my content look dark. So I like to pick a filter. It kind of helps out a little bit. So, anyways, let's jump right back into it. So, I was telling you the story time of basically when my identity was stolen and how I found out because God came to me in a dream. He used a dream. It wasn't, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. God didn't come to me in a dream. He used the dream to show me who had stole my identity. Now, what's crazy is that the investigators were like, without that lead, my identity theft case most likely would not have been solved because they were saying that this is too new of a crime. They just don't know how to do this. Um, they have more dire cases that they have to work on, so they definitely just really couldn't investigate this. So God gave me the lead, and from there, they found who stole my identity. Now, if you watch the other parts, they will be linked in the description box below leading up to this. But they had caught her, and it was my cousin. It was my baby cousin who wasn't even yet of age. But I do believe by the time she went to court, she was 17. Now, in Georgia, they were saying that 17, she is an adult. So, but I believe because she perpetrated the crimes at 15 and 16, that I guess she would still be, you know, tried under juvenile law, right? Okay. So, my aunt, one of the biggest narcissists, the biggest narcissist. I don't know why I keep saying one of. She's the biggest. She isn't now because I've done the final discard just last year. It has almost been a year, not quite, um, but I feel so much freer. I still love her. I still love the second biggest narcissist in my life, my cousin. I think I've always will love them because I don't know, it's so hard. You've always seen their true self, but it was always the wondering that it had to be someone deeper that makes you actually had love for that person. And you still do have this silent hope that they would get better. But now the difference is I know that I can't help them get better. Nothing I can do except for pray for them. And only God can get them better, can help them, can save them, that can show them their selves, right? God has that mirror, not me. Okay, so my aunt was getting mad at me because prior to finding out that it was my cousin, her daughter, that stole my identity, she thought when I turned in a picture of her daughter, when they asked me who I thought it could be, she thought I was just being, oh, y'all always look down on us and y'all just think the worst of my family and my kids and this and that. And it wasn't that. It was the dream that God had shown me. Okay, so now she was arrested. They said she was in a home full of people that had different peoples. They all were living under other people's identities. The way that, okay, so she started telling us what happened. I don't know, should I tell that part first or should I tell about the court? I think I'll tell about court first, and then I'll tell about my cousin explaining the way she ended up doing this. Okay, so court. They scheduled a court date, And they was, I don't even remember when the court date was scheduled. But the problem was I worked overnight. I worked the graveyard shift at a super center. This super center had the tightest attendance policy. Like, you could only miss 3 times in a rolling 6 months. And it did not matter the reason, because literally I almost got fired. Called in the office on my last write up because my sister had brain surgery and they did not approve me to miss the day. It was really hard to take off time. Now think about you yourself getting sick because you're human. Have a child. After you get sick, your child gets sick, or your child gets sick first, then you get sick. Between everything going on, you can only miss 3 days out of 6 months. So the attendance policy was so like tight that I didn't want to miss work when I just really couldn't, because you didn't know, you're human. You don't know if in 6 months you're gonna need to miss a day because of this and that. So I had asked my aunt, being that, this was my cousin, that now, see, I didn't know nothing about narcissism back then. I was always confused by her. Ugh. But I knew deep down inside it had to be somebody good down in there that does love me, right? I was wrong. Okay. So I was thinking, she's still going to have my best interest at heart, because they were basically telling me that to get basically like paid back for everything I had been through, that the only way that I can do that, because she's a minor, is to sue the parent of the minor. So that was a tough situation. So I'm always thinking of people. I know people make mistakes. I honestly seen that it wasn't directly my aunt's fault, but it is actions my aunt did that it kind of caused my cousin to do what she did. So it wasn't directly her fault. And I was like, I just couldn't see myself suing my aunt to get repaid back for these things. I still couldn't hardly fix a lot of things in my credit. But to get back to it, she was basically, I'm thinking she's going to be at my, I don't even know what word to use there, but she's going to be obligated to me more than her daughter, because her daughter is who did wrong, right? So I'm thinking she's going to have my best interest. So I was like, do I need to really miss for court? Because I can't really miss that many days. And she was like, no, whatever paperwork that the judge gives me, I'll give it straight to you. And that should be able to clear up all your issues. That's what they said. Because I guess they had, before court, they had already met or whatever. I don't know if she met with her daughter's legal defense or whatever. But somehow they already met before the trial was to take place. Not trial, but the court date to take place. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I ain't gotta go. The problem was, the reason why I didn't go, because court is in the morning and I work overnight. So it still would have been that hard situation of getting off of work, getting to court on time, and then having to drive straight back to Orlando, Florida, because I'm in Orlando, Florida. So I would have worked overnight at Orlando, Florida, jumped on the highway, drove to Georgia, went to court, however long court would be, and then got back on the road to head back to Orlando, Florida. So because that wasn't really realistic for me, I didn't really have a car like that or anything. I just said, okay, I went with her saying that she was going to give me the paperwork and I will be fine. I can show this to all my creditors. I'll be free of this debt and it'll be over. This nightmare will be over. So they go to court and wow, I don't even remember what they sentenced her in court. But she was a juvenile. So it was something light. It was like a tap on the wrist, like, don't do that again. Don't you steal nobody else's identity no more. Now don't do it. Like it was basically that. It was the lightest thing that clearly she would go do it again because she didn't get in trouble. You already know in the system, juveniles, they let them build up their track records there. They let them basically do whatever. They can do some of the most heinous crimes and get, don't do that. But when they turn adults, that's when they go, pow! It goes from this to pow! They knock your behind out once you're an adult, right? And I know that because my husband was wrongfully accused of a crime, and they said because he was 19, they could still charge him as a juvenile. And they was like, no, we don't want to do this to him. We want to, pow, knock his behind out, straight knock him out. And that's what they did. Knocked him out and our whole family out. And I'm still trying to fight to get him home. And I got proof and evidence that he's innocent, which is crazy. But yeah, so they didn't really do too much of anything to her because the time that it happened, she was a juvenile. Okay, so we go to court. I'm sorry, they go to court. And when she comes back, I'm like, oh yeah, they telling me what happened in court and this and that. And then I'm like, okay, so where's the paper from the judge? Give me the paperwork from the judge so now I can clear my name. And my aunt says, what paperwork from the judge? I'm like, are you kidding me? What you talking about? What paperwork? The papers that the judge said he's going to give me that I could turn in to all the creditors to clear my name. That paperwork. No, I ain't got no paperwork. She said they gave the paperwork to my cousin, which made no sense to me. Now, with a narcissist, you always gonna second guess your own logic. Like, that logically makes no sense. But you second guess it and be like, okay, well, she said that. I don't know what she would lie. Why would she lie about that? So she says that she has no paperwork. So I go to my cousin and I'm like, I need the papers that the judge sent so that I can clear my name. And my cousin's like, no, mama got them papers. That judge gave them papers straight to mama. Mama got them papers. Now I'm like, hold on. I go back to mama, which is my aunt. I ain't got no paper. The judge ain't gave me nothing. Judge gave the papers to her. I'm like, are you? Now I'm like, oh my God, I should have just took off the day and went to court. Dang. So now I'm trying to call, like, basically, and find out case information and at least have something. And guess what? Because she was a minor during the time of the crime, her records are sealed. Not even me, the victim in the case, can get information. This is how backwards our legal system is. This is why I fight for criminal justice reform. But people ironically think I'm a bad guy because I fight for what's right. But the system will mess up us up in so many ways, and it's because we just stand by the system the way it is, and knowing that it is very much flawed and it's giving us wrong results. It's not giving us accurate results all the time. They're not always arresting the right person. They're not always letting go the person that is innocent. Many times they're letting go the guilty parties to come back to the streets and commit more crimes. So our justice system is very much an oxymoron. But they were protecting her. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I have no paperwork. I can't get nothing to prove that these debts aren't me. So they just continue. And they told me I could sue the mother. But I just didn't have the heart to sue my aunt. My aunt would have sued me with the quickness. With the quickness. She would have been like, what? I gotta sue her? Okay, she would have loved that. With the quickness, she would have sued me. But I couldn't see that because she did have a younger son. She had my cousin, the second biggest narcissist. He was still a child. She was still raising him. And I had mercy on her. So I couldn't sue her. Meanwhile, on the side of my cousin, she kept telling me, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to, little by little, I'm going to do this and make it right. I'm going to get the paperwork you need. Nothing. Nothing. Ended up how I settled most of my debt. You know, I tried to dispute most things on my own, which is a very big headache. It's a lot. It would drive you crazy because it's so much stuff. Anyways, I was able to take care of a lot of it. Then I found this, it used to be on the radio. They used to advertise, I think they were called Hargrave and Associates, and they would clean your credit. So the moment I turned my case over to them, I paid a few $100s. They were able to get most of the stuff off. The one thing that would not come off was the student loan, because that is from like basically the government. They can't take care of that type of stuff. So I was stuck with her student loan. I was paying her student loan and mine put together from going to cosmetology school. So couldn't hardly make them payments. So, you know, with student loans, you can put forbearance and things like that. So I did that for quite a while because I could not pay that back. But that's the only thing they would not settle. And they claimed my marriage was annulled, but I honestly don't even really know if it was. One day I'm gonna have to open that box of worms because I do want to marry my husband upon his return from prison. I'm praying that God is about to open them doors for us. This is the time that the Lord is really revealing the truth. You can see it all around. Things that you didn't know that was happening there, and those people were doing that, and how could this have ever happened? Like, how did we let this happen? Those things are being revealed. And I believe my husband's gonna come home soon. So that's when I'll have to deal with that situation, right? I do have, but this ain't even a story for that. Me and my husband would have been married, like legally, spiritually, mentally, physically, soul partners. We already married. But legally, the reason we could not get married is because of some other crazy stuff that the prison did. And we were not allowed to get married. So that's why we're not physically, legally married. But when you think about it, it wasn't even legally that people got married. So I can call him my husband. He is my husband. I've been devoted, faithful to him for decades. and I'm only with him. Celibate ain't doing nothing because he's in prison. So he's my husband. But that issue could arise when, and I, oh, I pray they did annul that marriage because that would be crazy. But yeah, so that, it was crazy. So I don't know, maybe I should stop it here, and then I'm gonna tell you in the next part what my cousin said, the reason why she stole my identity. And I really felt really bad for her. And that's why I forgave her, because I understood. I literally, which makes no sense, but I understood why she stole my identity and had to get out that house.